I'm Statler.
I'm Waldorf.
We're here to talk about troop types, the 14th series in our discussion on doing it to the 9th age rulebook.
Age. Yes. 14.
Yes. All right, troop types. The chapter kind of actually starts by listing all the different defined troop types in the game in one consolidated page. This chapter is kind of a rewrite of the old troop types, where they would actually like list the troop types and list all the special rules for it.
Right.
So you'd have to go flipping through. So, you know, if you wanted to find out what kind of rank support or attacks or whatever,
You'd
and
have
then
to
a lot of times it would
page
say same as Cav, or which was kind of annoying if you weren't used to it, or for newer players. So this is just a much easier way to display it.
Yeah, and I like it because it consolidates everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big thing.
Exactly.
Makes it easy for people to find. Makes it easy for me to find stuff,
Yes.
because I always get to the point where it's like, I know that rule is there somewhere. We've just got to find it.
Exactly. And then very clear on what the different troop types are, and they have different, which when we get to the breakdown we'll talk about it, but you know, monstrous infantry, which was basically the same as it was before. They now have monstrous supports and monstrous ranks, so it's clear that, you know, one is how many figures you need to get a rank
Rank bonus.
and the other one is how many attacks you get,
Right.
for per figure in the rear ranks. Monstrous beasts, basically the same thing, except that's basically the same thing. The monstrous cavalry, talk about the combined profile, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and it has cavalry support, which is another special rule as opposed to monstrous
support, right.
and it also has monstrous support. And then you have monstrous rank against swift stride, pretty much chariots, pretty much the same, except this monstrous ranks part. So for those, if you're going to have you know, big chariot units, the only people that can do that are the Tomb Kings.
Yeah, goblins can have three, I think,
three,
which gives you a rank.
Yeah.
Which is...
But you're not going to have them, you know...
You're not going to have them long.
You're not going to have any more.
And you're not going to have bonus.
I suppose if you bought all your goblins on chariots, you could put them in your unit of 3 and
you mean that. Characters?
Yeah.
You could.
that way you
is
get around
true.
it, yeah. So you could have a better way to do it.
I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, you gotta work on that. Monster, all monsters are pretty much the same. One of the big things is they have monstrous ranks, which means that every foot monster has a rank, which is
correct.
A different thing for the game. So skirmishers and stuff, anything with 0 ranks can't just nullify this stubborn.
Right.
Large targets, that's universal for all monsters, and terror is universal for all monsters.
So they don't have to define which ones have
which
terror and which ones
don't.
Which,
right. And terror is much rarer in the game now, but
along with fear as well.
Yeah, along with fear. Ridden monster, same thing. Put a guy on a monster. And then the special rules. Swarm, basically the same as it was before. War machines. They have the rules here: reload, move, or fire, and cannot march. And then a lot of them have special rules in addition to that. But they're generally speaking the same as they were in it. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. They're really not, because the way wounds work and everything. But
the way you would, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. Then we have models on foot and mounted models. Again, just more defining what things are.
Right.
Character mounts. Model mounts on a war beast becomes Cav. Model mounted on a monstrous beast becomes monstrous Cav. Here's the big changes to these two. A model mounted on a monster becomes a ridden monster.
Right.
This is very significant, especially because now, and I don't know, do we talk, is that part of this one, or talk about it later? Probably later. Or is it talked down here? Now, if you've got if a character you're on a monster, all attacks go at the monster. You cannot attack the guy on the back, which gives those elven, little elf riding a dragon a benefit, especially a mage more than anything. And for me, at least, the goblin. One thing that was worthless was the goblin on the Ragnarok.
Right.
The goblin mage on the Ragnarok. Because as soon as he gets in combat, 3 spearmen poke him and he dies.
Well, I think it's a bonus and they've which we'll get to, as you said. You don't get your special saves from the character on a monster. You only get the monster. You get all that toughness and all those wounds.
You get all the toughness and all the
combined
wounds.
profile in general. One, it simplifies things.
Yes, by a lot.
And two, it's not just on monsters, but even on monstrous beasts.
Right.
You're also getting the toughness, and so it's just one set of profiles to worry about. None of this weird stuff. Or you can, as guys remember, you can actually kill the monsters in the old days, and the character was on foot.
And the character starts walking around.
Yeah. Or you kill the guy on top, and then you had this unwritten monster reaction.
The monster reaction table.
Yeah, so
which actually was kind of interesting.
It was interesting, but
this is much simpler.
I think it's much simpler, and it makes it makes them much more fun. I mean, it's kind of I'll just say it's a very Age of Sigmar-esque type of thing, But
you can't bring that up.
Yeah, I don't know if I should say that. Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's I think it's a good improvement overall. It makes you want to. The game is much more friendly,
right,
to ridden monsters, and I think it's substantially more friendly to, ridden monstrous beasts.
Yeah, I agree. And here they talk about the combined. I think this is what I was talking about.
Right.
All the rules for characters.
That's what we just
Riders have
discussed,
their own equipment. Yep. All right. And then the troop type rules, which, mounts cannot make supporting attacks.
Right.
If you have cav support.
Which was the same as before, yeah.
Monster ranks.
That's the different. That's
monster
the big one.
ranks.
Is that you get a full rank.
Yeah.
For one model.
Per one model. And you're never going to have a second one because nothing can join monsters.
Right.
So it's pretty simple there, right?
Except their shadow.
Except what?
Their shadow.
Their shadow.
Me.
Yes.
And my
all right. Didn't know you were going to sing.
Neither did I. Thank you for calling it
singing. Monstrous ranks, you got to be 3 wide. Monstrous support, you get 3 instead of 1.
Right.
And then we go to the next section.
More talks about the combined profile. It lays out what we were just talking about earlier. What stats you take. I mean, a big thing is now that you take basically the highest toughness.
Right.
Which was a big difference because before you just took whatever the toughness of the mount was.
Yeah, when they clarified
When
that
they clarified it, yeah.
At one point
Before it was the other way around.
Griffs became toughness 3, which upset a few Empire players.
Right. So, I think that I really like that because you had things like that. Oh, I got this, toughness 4 guy on this toughness 3 mount and the
right, and then it became toughness 3 for the model.
Right.
And the old one.
Yeah.
But
so I really like that they've done that, and basically everything else kind of fights as it fought before, but and then the combined armor save.
Use the best armor save of the
yes.
thing. Correct.
So
yeah, you're right. Not a huge difference there, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Just again, more clarified.
Right. I mean, the combined save I think is a big deal because it also helps the ridden monster things like griffins and maybe not so much griffins, but hippogriffs, which have barding on them. So you get the 5-up plus the armor on the guys. Yeah.
Right.
And same, I guess, with a wyvern. Any of those that have they usually have a 6 or 6 is the most common.
The mounts protection.
Mounts protection 6, but that's just so you get a little bit of a bonus of that plus whatever you do with the guy. So it makes it easier to protect that guy.
To armor that guy up.
Yeah, to at least against ballistic skill shooting and low
Right.
strength attacks and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, which is different because remember before they always had that differential. I mean, some monsters gave you there was a generic +1 armor for a monster for being riding on a monster.
Right.
I think.
Right.
Or sorry, monstrous beast.
Yes.
Not a monster.
Well, I can tell you, I would have never, put a guy in a hippogriff with the Bretonnian army.
Previously.
Rules. Now I think and we'll talk to that when we talk about the Kingdom Equitane book, and now it's a great piece,
Right.
So the elf griffins I think they're better pieces, it's just I think you'll see a lot more of those in games.
Yeah, I have been. The MSU elf list I see a lot. I mean, one of our guys plays that a lot.
And a lot of things also, when we'll see it later, are no longer classified as monsters. They actually are monstrous beasts. So you have that combined
profile thing.
Yeah.
All right. War Machine profile. All right. Here's where we get... I mean, it's kind of the same, but it's, again, you can see the rules that are out on this are much higher. The big change in here, of course, is the war machines automatically fail any characteristic tests except leadership.
Leadership, right.
Whereas they used to be able to get I think you said a toughness test, right?
Right. So now they are vulnerable to the uber spells.
Right. And again, same as always, if it fails a panic check, cannot shoot its next shooting phase. Mm-hmm. When it reaches 0 wounds, you remove the whole thing.
Right.
You're not removing crew separately.
Right.
So until it drops to 0 wounds, you get your full crew attacks,
mm-hmm.
which is a little bit significant.
Well, this is actually a change I just love in the thing is the combined war machine profile.
Right.
So no longer, because like you see in 8th edition, people playing tournaments, they just stick their candidate out and not put the crew out, which always looked tacky.
Right.
So
good point.
Yeah, now it's a combined you can make dioramas out of it as long as it fits on the base.
And now with the round base,
with the round base also added for how the shooting works, it's just aesthetically it looks much better, and then mechanically it's just very straightforward.
Correct.
Yes, you take wounds, but you don't. Your fighting strength is your fighting strength.
Yeah, and I'm happy about the round base because now it used to be there was always that weird thing is if you're on a square base, if you tried to pivot, sometimes you got too close.
Right.
And people, most people would ignore it, but you had the guy you play every once in a while that
was the argument
wants to object.
Because before you weren't even supposed to have them on bases,
pivot,
right?
Yes.
And then people like you and me would put them on the base because they look better, and then people are trying to, play against the base.
That against you because now you can hit it easier
absolutely.
and everything else.
Much better. I really like this how they've worked on war machines in general.
Yeah, and again, they clarify it again. When you charge a war machine, you can still do your pivot to hit it however you want, but you don't close the door to it. You just clip it where you hit it,
and that's where you go.
How you want to. That kind of clarifies that you can line up your overruns how you want.
And you still have the assaulting party who can direct attacks against it, same as before.
And this one here, the other part in blue here, war machines and units engaged with combat with them cannot make combat reforms.
Right.
So you can't hit a war machine and use that to
reform.
To combat reform.
Correct.
That does not prevent you from doing the post-combat reform or post-combat pivot.
Right.
But it does stop you from doing reforming. Because the other thing was also with the war machine before, you would hit a war machine, and if for whatever reason you couldn't kill it, you could always reform and face the other unit that was going to countercharge you.
Exactly.
Now you can't.
Right.
If you get unlucky and don't kill a war machine, you could be in trouble.
Another bonus for the dwarves.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
They need help.
Yeah.
I mean, this technically also helps the orcs when they take that, the bully.
The bully, yes.
The bully actually, sorry, I mean, that's a kind of a discussion for the Orc and Goblin book, but the bully brings your entire crew up to toughness 4.
Right.
In combat.
Right.
Also, brings it weapon skill 3 for defending. Makes it a little bit harder to hit, makes it harder to wound. Anyway.
You still got low leadership.
Yes. All right. And then what do we got next?
The troop summary. So here they basically restate some of what was there, but they basically list every single troop type, and then what type of profiles it standalone, is it combined. The models it takes to form a rank and form horde. So all in one spot, you can see that. Tank, the number of attacks they're from supporting ranks. Basically, they're the same, but at least it's all laid out together. And then any special rules like Swift Stride and Stomp, and then what height they are finally, which is very good because a lot of war machines are all classified as small.
Are they?
Yeah.
Unless I guess all.
Yeah, unless they happen to have a special rule. But
wow, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, because that was always a pain, in the old editions. Like, I've got this really tall. I got this, skull cat. I've got the new skull catapult. It's so tall.
Right.
I can see it or I can be seen. Or I got the old one. I can't see anything. Kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that helps because I use those wooden trebuchet models, and those things are gigantic.
Right. Yes.
And if you run a claim,
I believe the term is hugamungus.
Hugamungus.
Yes. They require their own carts to bring them into the,
they do.
To the table.
I still don't know how I'm going to fit them on a 60 millimeter base, or are they 75s for the trebuchet?
You're going to have to build an upside-down ziggurat out of cork. It is 75, but because you're going to have to get up to like 200.
Yes.
You know?
I could use those the vortex things that they used to create. Not the vortex. The what were those magical things they created? The oh, come on, I'm not going to think of it now. In that special set of the rules for the special magic that came out in 8th edition, they had those weird.
Oh, the yeah. The for the magic pinnacle things. What are they called? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Pillar or whatever they were. Anyway,
Yeah.
but they have those that were smaller on the top and they're
Exactly.
bigger on
So
the.
you can build that. Just
there you
with
go.
Cork's cheap, painted as rock. For some
Stack it
strange
up.
reason, they decided to put it up there.
And built a trebuchet on a tower of rock.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Sorry, we got a little
Yeah.
distracted there. But anyway, this chart is really good because again, one spot to reference. It has all the rules for the troop type.
And I said a lot of what's here is summarizing what we just read above.
Correct.
So
But at least it's again
All in one
it's all
spot.
summarized here in one spot. So that's troop types, right?
yeah, I think that wraps up this section.
All right. Section 14 on troop types. Oh, sorry, models input. All right, whatever. All right, well that's it.
All right.